Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. We are here today with episode 2468 of the Cabral Concept. You can find all of the takeaways from today's show, as well as any pertinent resource links and research at stephencabral.com/2468. Let's dive into the show on the telltale signs of a weak immune system. So I'm actually going to share this with you from the conventional medicine-based perspective. This is a WebMD, essentially article. And of course, you know that there's a huge difference between allopathy, which is conventional medicine, and naturopathy, which is natural-based health. So I'm going to share some of the differences here today. I'm also going to share with you back in the day when my immune system has shut down and was shut down, all the ones that I was dealing with as well. So we're going to go right through these. I would love to be able to hear any comments you have. Do feel free to share them right in the comments below on social media or YouTube. My team and I enjoy checking those out. And of course, always feel free to leave your tips as well. All right, 16 symptoms of immune system problems. The first one is cold hands or cold feet. So with cold hands, now, conventional medicine, allopathy will tell you that this is Raynaud's or some type of circulatory disorder, but do keep in mind that there is always an underlying root cause. So these cold hands could certainly be circulatory, inflammation, it could be low thyroid, could be high cortisol, and many more. But cold hands and feet is one of the first signs of a weakened immune system. Now, whenever we're talking about diagnosed-based diseases, I have to just give you that medical-based disclaimer that I'm not here to provide any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, or medical diagnosis, especially on a podcast, right? All right, so let's move forward. The second is digestive issues, whether it be diarrhea or constipation, loose stool, or difficulty having a bowel movement. Both of those can be an issue with the immune system. And that is because 80% of your immune system lies in and around the intestinal tract. So if there's inflammation there, there can certainly be immunological-based issues. What you want to look for, though, predominantly is there loose stool, obviously liquidy-based bowel movements, or hardened stool and constipation. Now, the big thing, though, is has there been a change over the last 2 to 4 weeks? Because this can signal, okay, something's going on with the immune system. There may be some type of infection, and that's what we need to look at as well, all right? So the second is digestive-based issues. The third, you may not have thought of this one, dry eyes. Why do I bring this up? Because oftentimes, now, again, allopathy will say that, okay, it could be rheumatoid arthritis or lupus or something like that causing the dry eyes. Yes, that's no doubt about it. There's a correlation between dry eyes and RA, rheumatoid arthritis, or lupus. But correlation does not equal causation, because rheumatoid arthritis and lupus don't necessarily cause dry eyes. The underlying root cause of those causes both the autoimmune issue and the dry eyes. So it's our job to look at, okay, well, why is the Th1 side of the immune system so overactive, and or what's called the sympathetic nervous system is dominant, so fight or flight. What's going on there that's causing the lack of mucus or lubrication in the eyes, right? So the more you're in fight or flight, the weaker the digestion, the less mucus that's actually created all in the intestinal tract, so that's not a good thing, stomach acid being produced, and also the we'll just call it liquid in the eyes, right? So really, really important that we look at that. Number 4 is fatigue. I would agree, right? So I haven't given you all mine yet, but we're getting to them right now. So fatigue was one of the big symptoms I had when I had these mystery-based illnesses for 10 years or so. So I was completely exhausted all of the time. It felt like I never woke up until around 11 a.m., 12 o'clock, right? And then I was exhausted all late afternoon, but then when it came time for bed, I couldn't fall asleep, right? It was a miserable existence. It really was. I'm glad that those days are over, and I'm glad I now get to help other people overcome those. But you have to understand is that fatigue can come because the immune system is fighting off areas of pathogens and microbes in other areas of the body. So I had mold overgrowth. I had candida overgrowth. I had small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. I had H. pylori infections. So all of those gut-based issues plus mold plus environmental allergies led to an exhausted immune system, because that's on the other side of autoimmune. Those are called Th2 dominant immune issues. Basically, you're sensitive to everything in your environment, right? And your own body, like all the candida overgrowth and bacteria that I had. So that caused absolute fatigue and weak digestion, because my body was, always inflamed in other areas. And so I wasn't able to break down food as well. And every time I ate, that would make me tired as well. So keep in mind, that's number 4. Number 5 is a mild fever, or what I had was low body temperature. Your body temperature, you should just take your temperature, and it should be in the 98s. I always tell everybody when I had my clinic in Boston, I'd say, we just want you in the 98s. I know you've always heard that 98.6 is the best. Sure, that's going to be our kind of median right there, our mean, that's where it should be. But 98.2, that's fine. 98.8, that's fine. In the 99s, we're getting too high. That's a mild fever. 97s, it's a sign of a slower and lower metabolism. The body's been chronically, most likely, fighting something for quite a while. In the 99s, there is something going on right now with the immune system. There's a slight elevation in fever. Really important to look at those numbers as well. Both of those, of course, can be fixed once you work on that underlying root cause issue. Headaches. I had headaches every day since I was a child, all the way through my early 20s. Never had any idea what was causing all my headaches. Lo and behold, it was environmental allergies and food sensitivities. Those are my big ones, okay? So stress, of course, was another one, but those are the big ones. Now, allopathy will have you do a CT scan and all sorts of things. Again, that's not necessarily a bad idea, but they're never looking at what's the underlying root cause of the headaches. I was eating high histamine foods, food sensitivities that were not good for my body, like gluten and dairy. I had a congested nasal passages from the dairy that I was eating. And I had my environmental-based allergies as well, mold too. And all of that led to vascular issues that was causing headaches for me. There are different reasons for headaches for other people. Those are mine. All right, the 7th one is a rash. Well, I too had a rash on my elbow that no one could figure out what it was. Well, again, you have to understand is that the inside of the body will manifest itself eventually on the outside as well. It could be melasma, it could be rosacea, it could be what I had, which is basically like a fungal-based rash that the body was saying, we're overloaded with candida on the inside, and now it's coming out to the outside as well. And so a rash could be, for sure, a sign of some type of either autoimmune issue, with lupus or rheumatoid arthritis like psoriatic arthritis, psoriasis, and many more. All right, joint aches and pains. And again, this was one I had as well. So typically, again, it's usually never one symptom, right? And so for me, it was my elbows and it was my thumbs. That is where I essentially had rheumatoid arthritis. And that was difficult, especially as a young man in his 20s and through college, to be dealing with joint pain in my writing hand and in the hand, especially like I would play sports with. And so that was tough. But again, that inflammation in that area had its own underlying root cause as well. But it is a sign of a weak immune system or imbalanced. Again, you can look at it as an imbalanced immune system too. So my imbalance was that I was very low in Th1 immunity, meaning I couldn't fight off any viruses, any colds that came my way. I would be sick every other week with sinus infection, pneumonia, bronchitis, etc. But I had a very strong Th2 dominance, which constantly kept me inflamed to everything in the environment. All right, number 9 was patchy hair loss. So Patchy hair loss could be alopecia or high level of stress. There can be other issues. Again, all of those with their own underlying root causes. Number 10 is repeated infections. That's a little something of what I just talked about. One of the reasons why I got repeated infections over and over and over and over is that I had a full rain barrel, right? So my rain barrel was always overflowing. And that was, again, from the food sensitivities, the environmental sensitivities, the poor food choices, the not enough sleep, the high stress, the insomnia, all of those things. Plus, every time I would get a cold, our local pediatrician, again, he was only doing his best for us with what he knew, would give us a Z-Pack, right? So we lived on Z-Packs. We'd have these 5-day Z-Packs, and hey, first sign of a cold, you take your Z-Pack, boom, it's gone in 3 days. Well, again, it probably would have been gone in 4, so we just sped it up by a day, but now we're destroying our gut microbiome and weakening our own innate immune system. Plus, if you're doing it for sinus-based issues, the rate of infection or reinfection is 100%. So there we go. So we've gave ourselves temporary relief only to be dealing with sinus infections now for years to come unless we rebalance. Number 11 is sensitivity to the sun. Photodermatitis. Well, believe it or not, I had this. I had massive photosynthesis, and I know I'm not a plant, but I had massive photodermatitis-based issues. So basically, whenever you'd go in the sun, your body would get inflamed. I would actually get exhausted after being in the sun for just even like a half hour because of, again, greater histamine-based reactions. And I'm someone that doesn't sunburn. I get a tan very, very easily. My wife always laughs at me. I'm out in the sun for like 10 minutes and I get a tan. But back then, essentially having an autoimmune issue to sunlight, which is not normal at all because humans need sunlight. Number 12 is tingling or numbness in your hands and feet. Again, this is one that I had as well. I have lots of podcasts on why this happens. This can be everything from liver-based issues to B vitamin imbalances, to zinc copper issues, blood sugar imbalances, many different reasons why there might be tingling in the hands and feet. So you have to figure out your underlying root cause of this, but it certainly can be an imbalance with the immune system. Trouble swallowing is number 13. Lo and behold, I had this as well. So I had my tonsils already removed by the time I was 10 years old. So what did I have? Well, I had massive lymph nodes swollen in my neck, which made it difficult for me to be able to swallow. But not only that, I had a swollen tongue. I had swollen soft palate tissue in the back of my mouth. Number 14 is unexplained weight changes. Once again, I had this as well. So unexplained weight changes, though, goes in both ways. It can be weight gain, 10 pounds over the course of a couple weeks or a month, or 10-pound weight loss over the course of just a couple weeks or a month without doing anything different. I lost almost 30 pounds when I was quite sick in the very beginning. And it was almost immediate. And that, obviously, as a teenager growing up and trying to be in shape and all that was devastating as well. All right, so not ideal. Number 15 is white patches. You can actually get them anywhere on the body. You can get them on the skin. They're a little bit different when they're on the soft palate on the back of your mouth. LS is just a short name for it. I have podcasts on that as well. But what happens is there can be an actual reaction, again, to the sun, but there can be an autoimmune issue with the melanocytes that actually create the pigment in your skin. This is a sign as well, potentially, of an imbalanced immune system. Not always, but it can be. Again, all of these, it's a can. And the last one, number 16, is yellowing of your skin or your eyes. This typically has to do with the health of your liver. Yellow on the palms, the soles of the feet, the eyes, the face is all typically a giveaway that the liver is not properly balancing bile and able to detoxify the body in the right way. So if you see this, of course, this is a time for sure to speak with your PCP as well. But there can come a time when actually the liver, and you want to run what's called your AST and ALT counts and others in order to be able to see that it's functioning well enough. So this is pretty far down the line. I mean, you're not going to be, you'll probably have seen signs before this. I did have this at my worst, was able to kind of get stable with that and then just deal with a lot of the other symptoms. So there are more, but these are 16 pretty good ones that WebMD lays out. So I like that they have articles like this. The problem is they never share with you that each one of these has their own underlying root causes. So they like to say a lot of these are autoimmune based. Well, I don't necessarily disagree. The problem with allopathy, conventional medicine versus naturopathy, is that they don't believe in an underlying root cause for autoimmune issues, even though there are thousands of peer-reviewed research articles showing how autoimmune issues tend to take place. 90% of them have some type of gut-related issue, some type of intestinal permeability. I have lots of podcasts on those. Why don't I link up a couple today? So if you go to stevencabral.com/2468, I will link up some of those autoimmune-based shows, the root causes of them. So we won't go too deep on that today. But what I wanted to share with you is this, is that everybody talks about inflammation. I agree. Or autoimmune issues. Again, like I get it. Each one of those has their own underlying root cause. You don't get inflamed for no reason at all, right? There's a reason why inflammation is created, and it's a natural process of the body. So if it stays in a chronic-based state, why? If you continue to ask the reason why, you will eventually find the answer. It took me more years than I care to have struggled with it. However, I now have those answers, and you will one day as well. So again, my hope and my wish for you is just to understand that there is always an answer. You will be able to figure it out. If you begin to pay closer attention to your body and you understand your symptoms, you will then know, especially if you do at-home lab testing, how to figure out what your imbalances are, how to lower your rain barrel, empty that rain barrel in order to heal your body. So I don't want to go too deep further than that. We're going to keep it at that for today. Always feel free to go back to stevencabral.com/podcast. There are many, many other shows. You can type in your exact search term, and you know that my team and I are dedicated to helping you. So any questions you have, just submit them at cabralsupportgroup.com. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the day, and always feel free to share this show with anyone you believe it could serve. Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.